ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is Football and Nonsense. What a weekend it was. Oh my goodness. I think there's like one, maybe two, what you would call backwards days every season in the NFL. And this one very well could have been, with the exception of a few things. But, I feel for you Packers fans. It was not pretty, and the news did not get any better as the weekend went on. So my condolences, Pack fan. I love you all, despite our differences when it comes to playoff time, even though that hasn't been for a long time. So, I mean, you're technically my second favorite team. It's just that Aaron Rodgers sometimes can be a little douchey. But speedy recovery, best wishes to Aaron, because he is amazing. Under center, in the shotgun, on the run, whatever. It just was very unfortunate that happened to him, and it took place, and now it looks like he is gone for the season, and that is my own little segue into today's headlines. And of course, this episode is brought to you by mybookie.ag, the safest place to take your online action. Go to mybookie.ag today. Now, there is a few new things for mybookie.ag. Of course, as always, if you're watching the games, it's time to start making money. MyBookie is the industry leader. It's the website that hooks you up for all your betting needs. And with their great odds, fast payouts, and decades of experience, you can bet with confidence. Your team doesn't even need to win. They just need to cover the spread. So it's really win-win-win when it comes to the good folks at mybookie.ag. You can bet on your team if they suck. If they win, it's a win for you and a win for you. You can bet against your team, and if they win, that's good. But if they lose, obviously you win. And then, of course, if they cover the spread, win or lose, then it's win-win, win-win with mybookie.ag. And where you bet is important, and that's why they offer safe and secure betting and gambling action. And that's why I'm urging you to make your way over to mybookie.ag. I trust them, and so should you. If your team is sitting on the sidelines all season and haven't manned up yet, now is the time to get in on the action, because MyBookie is offering their 100% bonus for the last time this year. That's right, the last time after Sunday. You can kiss this deal goodbye, so get it before it's too late. They have in-game live betting and a mobile site that makes wagering on the go easier than ever. You can also check out their online casino if you'd rather play a few hands of blackjack or roll the dice at craps. Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit up to 100%. And that is with the promo code TheFanShow to activate that offer. So visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. And first order of business, Aaron Rodgers is down and out. Happened early. I mean, we're talking the morning game. If you're a West Coaster, if you're an East Coaster, then it was the first game of the day, the afternoon one at 1 o'clock. In Minnesota, was it the first drive? I want to say it was like the first or second drive for the Pack, and down he goes, broken collarbone. It was like Tony Romo all over again. It didn't look as bad as it was until he got up, and then it was, he was not a happy camper. And I get it. He's the guy that is the difference maker for your team. And I feel like you can say that more with the Packers than you can with Tom Brady and the Patriots, because they went 3-1 in his absence last year. So, sorry, I'm not sorry that I still think Brady is a product of the Bill Belichick system, and that's why quarterbacks tend to do so well, regardless of who it is. However, Jacoby Brissett looks like he could very well be the real deal, and in fact, the price for him will probably be high once Andrew Luck comes back. Now, they didn't win last night. The Colts did fall short, but he has probably been their best replacement for Andrew Luck since they got Andrew Luck. And we all know that the season before Andrew Luck, it was Orlovsky and Painter, and you couldn't have asked for a worse duo of backup quarterbacks. Of course, anytime you have to back up Peyton Manning, you're going to have a bad time, Brock Osweiler. So when it comes to backup quarterbacks, you really have seen their value in their make or break for your team these last several seasons. Dak Prescott obviously was able to step up in place of the injured Tony Romo. Tony Romo has since moved on to the broadcasting booth, and he's an MVP there. I mean, if you could win a Super Bowl in the broadcast booth, he would be my front runner right now, which it may be the only time that he gets to a Super Bowl is in that broadcast booth for CBS and Jim Nantz. But he's doing great. He really is. I am pleasantly surprised with how well he has done for the color commentary. He knows his stuff, and that's something that you like to hear from a guy that's going to be, it's their voice that you hear for the next 3 hours. But there was a lot of rumors when Aaron Rodgers went down. Will they give Tony Romo a call? Doubtful. I think Tony is where he wants to be. Whether he actually wants to or not, I think he believes now. He's accepted that this is the best place for him. Would I put it past him to want to suit up for Green Bay, given that he's a Wisconsin native? Absolutely not. I think it could very well happen, but I do think it would be foolish. It would be very foolish. Now, Jay Cutler is doing just fine with the Miami Dolphins right now. In fact, they, Falcons are going to Falcon. They came back from down 17-0 to beat Atlanta in Atlanta, and now the Falcons will go on to face the team that did that same thing to them last year in the biggest game of their lives, the Super Bowl, when they take on New England. We'll talk about that a little later. But Jay Cutler, it didn't feel like he was fully committed to the broadcaster thing. Of course, it doesn't seem like Jay Cutler is fully committed to anything, really. It's just kind of like, oh, you want me to do this? Okay, whatever. And then he lights up a smoke. That's Jay Cutler, and that's the Jay Cutler we know and love. But he's doing fine in Miami. But I think that had he gotten a taste of broadcasting, it would have taken a lot to get him out of the booth and onto the field. So could be different with Tony Romo. I don't think it is. I think Tony is set to be a broadcaster for a very long time, and a good one. I think he could easily replace Chris Collinsworth even now, but would probably be the next guy up to take over that gig on Sunday Night Football, or even in place of John Gruden on Monday Night Football. There's a lot of ifs, there's a lot of potential there, but Tony Romo, he's doing just fine. They called the Kansas City and Pittsburgh game, which, oh my goodness, and then there were none. Kansas City goes down against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was like playoffs last year all over again. Kansas City could get nothing going on offense. Luckily, this wasn't where they got out-kicked all game long. The Pittsburgh Steelers did find the end zone, courtesy of Antonio Brown. But, man, you got to hope, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, that if your team looks and plays as well as it has up to that game where they were 5-0, that at 5-1 you're like, okay, if we get to the playoffs, we're fine as long as we play anyone but the Steelers. I think even playing the Patriots looks like a better, opponent than the Steelers do when it's going to really matter in the postseason. Of course, all of this assuming that they get there at this point. There's still a lot of football left to be played, but of course, if the season ended today, it doesn't. The season does not end today. And even if it did, it doesn't still. Shut up, NFL. My God. The NFL had a league meeting today. Players and coaches and owners alike were welcome to come and talk about what we've all been talking about for the last freaking month, and that is the anthem and its conduct and blah, blah, blah. There were statements released by Roger Goodell just a few short moments ago on his thoughts for what was taken away from the players meeting, or the league meeting. There we go. In attendance was Jed York. Not in attendance, Jerry Jones. I found that very odd. Also in attendance, Eric Reed. Not in attendance, Colin Kaepernick. And apparently Colin Kaepernick has released a statement on that. No, according to head coach Mike McCarthy of the Green Bay Packers, Colin Kaepernick will not find his way onto the Green Bay Packers offense. Brett Hundley is his quarterback, and he said that with the Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati enthusiasm, and, this is what it is. So props to McCarthy for laying the hammer down, putting the foot down and being like, this is how this is going to go. Coming up on today's episode, my good friend Faruq. You know him as the voice of BattleBots. Hopefully they'll have a season 3. We will talk a little bit about that. But he is an Eagles fan who lives in L.A. Fly, Eagles fly. He got an invitation from me. I said, hey, if you get this win Thursday night, you can come on the show and brag all you want about your Eagles, and he did just that. It was a pre-recorded segment, but one that I'm very pleased with. Always fun to talk to Faruq. He's got a couple of new projects coming up. We talk about that as well as this week's edition of Fan versus Fan Show. It seems like this is a weekly thing where I have to admit that I have once again been defeated by my guest. Last week, Mark Sessler, it was 3-2 to 2-3. And oh man, if the Jets would have, if that should have been a touchdown. The Jets had it. That's a touchdown by any other standard except for the NFL, because we still don't know what the hell a catch is. But if the Jets would have won that, I would have beaten him, and that would have been 2-5 for me, but now I'm 1-6, and it's kind of embarrassing. Or no, that would have been 2-4. I'm 1-5 now, and it's a little embarrassing. But whatever. Faruq was happy to do a round of Fan versus Fan Show Pick'em. Doing this earlier tonight to try out something new. Doing things a little differently. Again, to try out something new. Thursday, I will most likely be live and on location for a pregame party for the Oakland Raiders fan club here in the area at Flamin' Joe's. Waiting for a few details to get worked out about that. But as far as the other news, we're waiting to hear on the verdict for Ezekiel Elliott and this thing. And Faruq and I talk about this too. It's just, it needs to be done. It's like we've been through this as fans with the Tom Brady and Deflategate. The more that you spend on these things off the field, the less you enjoy the things on the field. And if you're a Cowboys fan, like, I have no sympathy for you, because this is a guy who hasn't apologized for anything that's happened, who will not simply let this die. And let me remind you that had he just taken the suspension and not filed a grievance or whatever against the NFL, saying that a harassment suit against the NFL for this whole thing, he would be ready to come back next week. After their bye week, Zeke would be back, and I doubt things would be really any worse than they have been for the Cowboys, because even with Zeke, they're still kind of got people going, I don't know about this Cowboys team, and Faruq will talk a little bit more about that. 49ers lost another heartbreaker. It was great to see our future quarterback Kirk Cousins play well, but man, those offensive PIs. One, I don't understand how that is even a penalty. It's like, of all the things to call on the offense, it's like they're interfering with the pass. It's the defense's job to try to intercept the ball, but to say that the offense is interfering with that when they are not the intended receiver on the defense, it blows my mind. It really does. But these calls that have happened a lot this year and have been crucial in the final seconds and moments of a couple of 49ers games, it really boils your blood as a fan, because, one, you don't want it to come down to calls like that. And, of course, if you did your job in the first half, then it shouldn't. But when you see somebody I bump into a defender and they throw the flag and they say it's pass interference, it's like, okay, who's on offense? 49ers. Okay, that's what I thought. Who is the intended receiver? Okay, that guy. Yeah, that's right. Not the defender. So it blows my mind. It really does. I am so frustrated. This is probably the best 0-6 team you've ever seen. If you recall recent memory, the Chargers probably would have given them a run for their money last year, but the Chargers had their own problems. San Francisco, best 0-6 team you've ever seen. That's not saying much, but who will get a win first? Them or Cleveland? My good friend Rob of Cleveland Rounds and I talked about that last week, and we didn't mention the Giants because I didn't feel it was really relevant. In fact, in my mind, I thought that a Odell Beckham-less Giants were probably had a better chance to get a win than they did with him, because it's all about him. It's the Odell show. And sure enough, they go to Denver, Sunday Night Football, primetime Eli. They get their W. So now, then there were none as far as undefeated teams left, and now we're down to 2. So who gets the win first, the Cleveland Browns or the San Francisco 49ers? And it's not something that I wanted to be my team's storyline this year, especially when they announced that they had granted the request of Navarro Bowman for his release. He has signed a 1-year deal with the Oakland Raiders, so he's gone from red and black to black and silver. And that's fine. I have good friends that are Raiders fans. They need this. I don't know if it's enough to turn around their season, because it seems like they have a lot of problems, and one guy on the defense isn't going to do that for you. But there's stuff he can bring to the table. I think this is a good fit for him. I would have liked to see him on a legit contender like the Chiefs or the Eagles. Faruq mentioned he was hoping to get Adrian Peterson, because Adrian Peterson is now an Arizona Cardinal, and he balled out, but so did the Saints. So really it was like the most mutual breakup you've ever seen in your life. Like when people say, no, it was mutual, and you know that really they don't mean that. Like it was more of their decision than the other. This is like the most mutually beneficial breakup I have ever seen, the Adrian Peterson and New Orleans Saints. The Saints put up 52 points. Adrian Peterson rushed for like 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think they're fine without each other. I think they are moving on. It's not you, it's me, and that can be taken quite literally in this. Other than that, we're waiting for the verdict, Zeke Elliott, and that brings us to the newest segment here on the Fan Show that we do every Tuesday. You know it, you love it.
You just made the list!
That's right, and Faruq and I talk about it in his interview coming up after this, but the list of Fan Show has had several great additions to it throughout the season. The New England Patriots being item number 1 for their constant trolling of the Falcons and their big banner drop ceremony just to get beat by the Chiefs and have a rude awakening as to, hey, this game counts now. And then, of course, guys like Odell Beckham, Clay Travis for being douchey and making asses of themselves. Then Cam Newton for trying to charm his way out of everything. And it's just like, dude, and I'm feeling like there's a trend here. We have the Butt Fumble Award that you, the fans, nominate and vote on, and that's for the funnier moments. My list, though, a little different. It seems like the trend now is people that I just wish would kind of get over themselves and go away a little bit. And so this week's edition of the List of Fan Show. You wanted it, you love it. Ezekiel Elliott. You know what happens when you're accused of something and you show no remorse and you don't apologize, and the league offers up a 6-game suspension, and then you decide to flip the table and say, it's a restraining order against the NFL because I'm not the bad guy. Really? Because you have all the familiar symptoms of a bad guy in this. And then after the first 6 games, they're like, well, we're gonna go ahead and reinstate that. And you're like, no, I'm not going down without a fight. You need to just go down without a fight. Okay, this has gone on long enough. It's not the Ezekiel Elliott show in Dallas, although I'm sure Jerry Jones would love it to be, but your team is more important than you, and you are putting yourself before the team. So, Zeke, do you know what happens when you're not sorry for the things that you've done and you want to fight this tooth and nail because you're Zeke Elliott? You know what happens, do you, when you have to just not let dogs lie and take this thing as far as it'll go because you think you're the next Tom Brady and you're above the NFL? Do you know what happens? Do you, Zeke? Do you know what happens?
You just made the list!
That's right. Number 6 on the list of Fan Show, Ezekiel Elliott. Rightfully so. I mean, it's just something's got to give with these guys. It really does. Cam Newton, just shut up. Odell Beckham, just stop doing Odell Beckham things. And Zeke, just let it go. All right? You are the newest addition to the list.
You just made the list!
And with that, we're going to go to commercial break. And when I come back, Faruq. And that is an interview you will not want to miss. We've got more of the Fan Show coming up after this.
This is The Sheet.
Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw that Sky hates him.
Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns. 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten if they were in the Big Ten. You could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. I'm proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You know, just you walk outside, step in a puddle, like right when you walk outside. I mean, how does a puddle right outside your house? Are you stand on the curb and somebody drives by and splashes water up on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, before you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks.
Good. You're listening to the sheet, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports, and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
This is Nick Ciccarelli, the mad scientist of sports. Join me and Dr. D, Derek Jones, live every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific, for the Mad Scientist Sports Lab. The big intellect, the experiments on the chalkboard, and the guest subjects will be rolling in. Mad Scientist Sports Lab, only on WBLZ Sports, where we got balls.
Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. He has over 30 years of painting experience. He's interior, exterior, commercial, or residential. Doug Peffer covers it all. Is your house looking ugh? Well, call on Doug. Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361. Mention WBLZ Sports and get a special We've Got Balls discount. That's Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361.
Check out Thursday Night Tailgate, where NFL legends live on. We bring you 5 NFL legends every week, sharing their stories and insights, plus our spotlight on the positive. Hear which players are doing great things in their communities. Now on WBLZ Sports Talk Radio and WBLZSports.com.
All right, he's the man of many talents, but one voice to rule them all. He is Faruq. Faruq, welcome back, my man. How you doing?
Hey, man, what's good, man? I'm glad to be back on the show, man. Here to talk some Eagles and some other things going on.
Hey, I got to tell you, your Eagles have surprised a lot of people. Probably not yourself, because it was about a year ago right now that you and I were doing our picks against each other. You picked your Eagles in what seemed like an unlikely outcome of the battle for Pennsylvania, and they won, and now it seems like they're just kind of picking up where they left off. What stands out to you about this Eagles team?
You know, I mean, the experience. I mean, when we talk about, you talk about the battle of Pennsylvania, that's when they were about to play Pittsburgh. And, Carson Wentz just really has elevated his game to a whole nother level. No sophomore slump here. You see him, he's making decisions in the pocket and outside the pocket and making the decisions that you want to see a quarterback make. Even under duress, he's doing everything that he needs to do. And without him, I don't see this Eagles team being where they are right now.
Yeah, and he was one of my bold predictions. I said of all the sophomore quarterbacks that he would not have a sophomore slump, and obviously we're about to the midway point of the season. It looks like I was good on that one, but of course the Cowboys are kind of a bit of a mess right now, even though Zeke's suspension got postponed. We're supposed to hear a ruling on that today, after it was reinstated, and they're on a bye week. Is there another team in the East that worries you at this point in time, being 5-1?
The only team in the East that I had any type of concern about, and you always got to look at the quarterback play, was the Green Bay Packers. But now with Aaron Rodgers going out, not only does that hurt my fantasy team, but it does make the outlook. It does make the outlook for the Eagles that much better. If we can get past the Redskins on this upcoming game Monday.
Hey, Faruq, you there?
Maybe the Redskins. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, except maybe the Redskins. They played us tough the first game, and then and I really right now I'm looking at to see how teams are playing against Kansas City, because that's the only team that beat us. Both us and the Redskins went into Arrowhead, and we played them very tough. Both came out with the L, but we get past the Redskins on Monday night. I'm gonna be pretty excited about our chances of going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me to see the Chiefs lose. Now, I knew that game could probably be their first loss because Pittsburgh usually rebounds pretty well, especially when it seems like all signs are pointing to their downfall. But they're your only loss. With that loss to Pittsburgh, you guys now own the longest winning streak. How confident are you guys as far as the Giants just got their first win? The Cowboys are kind of a 50-50 team right now. And then the Redskins, they persevere and they come out on top regardless of the adversity. How do you feel about your division there in the NFC East?
Okay, like I said, the Redskins are the only team that, I have any concern about. The Giants, I love seeing the Giants where they are right now. I can't believe they went into Denver and got their win. I posted on my Facebook. I was looking forward to them going 0-6. And the reason why, man, is because everybody picked the Giants to not only win the division, but to go to the Super Bowl this year. And when I was looking at their roster, I'm like, what are people looking at? I don't get it. I understand Odell Beckham, okay, Brandon Marshall came over. Brandon Marshall, he's old. He's pretty much done, especially after this injury. I mean, he's a good possession receiver down in the red zone because of his height and everything else. But man, everything else, they didn't have those. Their defense wasn't tight. Eli Manning, he's as inconsistent as anything ever. And so the Giants, I'm happy to see them where they are. The Cowboys, I never worry about the Cowboys at all. And whenever I say the Cowboys, it's with a lowercase c. I'm trying not to disrespect them by calling them the Cowgirls because I'm not going to do that. But listen, man, this Ezekiel Elliott thing, they just dragging this thing on, man. Yeah. And I think it's only because of the money that they have with Jerry Jones and everything else. They're trying to make this thing go on and on. Let this man serve his 6-game suspension. He deserves it. He did what he did. He never came out and denied what he did. He never said apologized for what he did. He's just sitting here fighting this battle because they got the money to sit there and fight it and to put all these resources to waste. Come on, man. Ezekiel Elliott, serve your 6-game suspension. One of those weeks, I believe, if you serve it now, you'll get to come back and play the Eagles. But either way, we're going to sweep y'all bums anyway. And so I'm not worried about anybody in the NFC East. The Eagles will win the division, and that's all that's got to be said about that.
Yeah, I wish that Zeke would just take the L on this one because, in all honesty, it's sort of a joke about how the system works and how he's manipulated it by being able to play these first 6 games. The irony about all of it, though, is that had he just served it, he would be on the verge of coming back to play this next game, and now he could potentially be out right in the middle of their season where they're not starting off like they would have had Ezekiel Elliott for this whole first stretch of the season. So it kind of seems like poetic justice. Obviously, that you're a fan of a division rival, you're going to be laughing all the way throughout the process. But I got to give it to your Eagles. 5-1, big win against Carolina this last Thursday night, and now they will see
huge.
Prime time again against the Redskins, which we'll talk a little bit about. But you think that the Eagles are the best in the NFC now that Rodgers is out for the Pack? That is a mighty bold statement, sir.
I mean, I don't see anybody else stopping us. Do you? I mean, we took care of the Panthers in Carolina, and the other thing about what the Eagles are doing that is so amazing to me.
Faruq?
3-1 on the road, and I'm here.
Okay, yeah.
You got me?
Yep.
Yeah, our 4 of our first 6 games are on the road. We're 3-1 on the road, 2-0 at home, and the only loss again was in Kansas City. Like no other team is doing that right now. You got a couple other teams, the Panthers and the Rams are 3-0 on the road, but they got losing home records, and you got to win those home games in the East. And so I don't see anybody else stopping us now. And let me tell you like this: I did not see the Eagles being at 5-1 at this point. I didn't know where I had them, but I'm gonna tell you like this: when I look at the rest of our schedule, when I look at the division. I definitely am not afraid of anything. I mean, I see us going just to be nice. I'm gonna say 12-4, but maybe 13-3 because eventually you get tired, you might get a little banged up, you might lose focus a little bit. So I'm gonna say 12-4, but 13-3 is where I think we'll finish.
Okay, well, obviously the Packers were a big time favorite going into the season, and now that they have lost Rodgers, you're not too concerned about them. The Vikings, we'll see. The jury is kind of out on them. But let's talk about some teams that are kind of proving their worth as the season goes. Do you think you could win a shootout with the Saints, and do you think you could win on the best day of the Rams?
I don't think it'll be a shootout with the Saints, simply for the fact that the Saints, they got Drew Brees and they got some weapons, but the way our defense has been playing, the way our cornerback play has been, it's really, even with the injury to Darby, it's really been really big for us. And I'm not afraid of the Saints. The Saints, they got a few weapons here and there, but when you look at who the Saints have played, I mean, they really haven't played anybody of any big worth. I mean, they beat Miami, they beat Detroit. I mean, that was a shootout with Detroit. Like, Miami hadn't won any games pretty much, and then they get shut out by the Dolphins. Come on, man! Nobody knows what this Saints team is going to bring week in and week out. I mean, they had a good game this last week at home, but I don't expect that to stand up. And then when you want to talk about what was the other no-name team you just brought up? Oh, the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, the Rams.
When you talk about the Rams, I mean, we're going to go out to the West Coast on December 10th and show you what that's all about. Because and I'm going to tell you like this: they're going to be at the Coliseum, and just like what we did at the Chargers Stadium, we turned that Chargers game into a home game. out here in LA, I was at the game. 70% of the fans at that stadium for that San Diego Chargers Eagles game was Eagles fans, and that's a fact.
Wow.
And we're going to do the same thing. The Eagles are going to show up. We're going to show up the same way at the Rams. Listen, man, these LA fans out here in LA, man, they, as long as they win, they with you. When you're not winning, they ain't got nothing to say about you. They ain't got nothing to say about you, man. My wife is a Lakers fan, and she's watched 2 Lakers games probably in the last 2.5 years, and one of them was Kobe's last game. So, you know what I mean? That's how these LA fans are out here. Right now, the Rams are 4-2. I don't expect that to hold up. I do got to say their offensive coordinator and Goff, they playing very well. I'm not concerned. I got so much confidence in my Eagles and what they can do and what the defense is going to do. Lane Johnson was out last week, and everybody was all concerned. We got a couple sacks early, but we made the adjustments against the Panthers. And look, man, the Eagles is going to be here to the very end. If you check it out, there's only 2 teams in the entire league right now and 5-1. That's the Eagles and the Chiefs. Super Bowl 52. That's what it's going to be right there. Eagles, Chiefs.
I like that pick. Well, since you brought it up, I wasn't going to really talk about it, but the season does start today. So your wife being a Lakers fan, what does she think of the Ball family?
I'm not sure what she thinks about the Ball family too much. She's excited to have Lonzo Ball. She is really in arms right now because all she keeps saying to me is 2019 LeBron James will be a Laker. 2019 LeBron James will be a Laker. And that's what she's looking forward to. She wants LeBron James in a Laker jersey. I'm going to tell you right now, she might watch 10 of the 82 Laker games this season because of Lonzo Ball and whatever games they decide to showcase him in. But I don't think she's already looking forward to 2018, 2019 season. This season right here, she's not concerned about, like Laker fans, like LA fans. She's not even concerned until they have an opportunity to actually win something. She knows they're not gonna make the playoffs this year. If they do, it'll be an 8 seed and it'll be amazing. But yeah, it's way too much other exciting basketball and teams with all these new power teams or whatever you want to call them coming up together to worry about what Lonzo Ball and the Ball family's doing.
Yeah, right.
But I will say one more thing on the whole Ball family thing. His father got to step back, man. He gonna ruin it for him, man. He gonna ruin it for him. He already had his other kid leave the high school, and I know they already pretty much declared the UCLA, man. But the father gonna have to take a step back, man. If they want these kids to come out here and get these sponsorships and get this money and do what they need to do. I understand they're gonna start their own thing. They got the big baller brand, and they got the shoes that they charging people $500-$600 for, which is ridiculous. But man, come on, man, he got to take a step back, man. He's doing too much. He's doing the most.
All right, well, before we get to our picks for the week, I hear you have a new project. Seen a few clips. Looks fun and exciting. Tell us a bit about The Noise.
Yeah, man, I actually got two new projects.
Ooh.
The first one, the first one to tell you about I haven't talked about yet, but it's called Now the Discussion on Sundance Now. It's kind of like one of those, you know how like they got The Walking Dead and they got The Talking Dead after it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm part of a panel of a show like that. Now, my episode is going to be airing next week, but feel free to tune in this week on Sundance Now. Check out the show called The Swell. It's actually very timely, this show, because it's talking about like what happens when a natural disaster kind of floods and drowns out your city. But it's not about just surviving that and how do you survive, but it's about what happens to the relationships and people and how do you try to get back to claim some sense of normalcy after a devastation like that. And we know we've had that in our own country with Houston, New Orleans, Florida, and all that kind of stuff. So this is right on time. So make sure y'all check out Now the Discussion and The Swell on Sundance Now. I won't be on this week, Thursday, October 19th, but I will be on every episode after that in consecutive Thursdays.
Nice.
And then we also have The Noise, which is my game show. Man, I'm so excited about this. Check it out. Premieres October 23rd on Universal Kids, 7/6 Central. Make sure y'all tune in. It's all about kids having to be quiet. Now, we give them a whole bunch of games and obstacles that make a lot of noise, and the goal is try to not set off the noisometer. And the noisometer is this sound detecting technology that's really, really super dope and super awesome because it picks up everything that any noise that's made, it picks it all up. And so all the kids have to do is go through and try to navigate through these obstacles with making as little noise as possible for the most points to try to move on and win some big cash or prizes.
Yeah, you showed a clip on your Facebook that your kid was trying to rip off a 8x12 sheet of aluminum foil. Man, ain't nobody can do that quietly.
But that's the thing, man. It actually can be done if you take your time and you have fun with it. And that's one of the things that what you saw is actually there's an app. It's called the Noisometer app.
Oh.
It can be downloaded. It can be downloaded on Google Play and iTunes. My voice is on the app, so you'll get to hear me. If you don't hear me enough, you'll get to hear me even more. So yeah, the download the Noisometer app for free, and then you can play not only the games that will be in the show, but we give you a list of things that you can have around your house where you set up some of your own type of game. And you can post it on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Use the hashtag Noise Challenge, and we want to see what you guys got out there. Let's see your own obstacles and how you guys can beat the noisometer out there.
I could think of one right now: walking across a sea of Lego pieces without making a peep.
There you go. See, that's a good one. And you know, you'll see. I think you saw probably one of the commercials. We actually do a thing with those plastic building blocks where you got to try to make noise in those too. So you'll see how it goes. The game show, man, is a lot of fun. It's fun for the whole family, and it's just going to be a blast, man. So make sure y'all tune in October 23rd, 7/6 Central, Universal Kids. You can find in your local listing. It used to be the Sprout Network. So yeah, just check out Universal Kids and The Noise, October 23rd.
All right, man. Well, that brings us to the segment of the hour, and that is our fan versus fan show pick'em. You and I did this last year, and you beat me. I got to try to redeem myself. So the first game to pick from is, I believe this one will be a sleeper, and that's Tampa Bay taking on Buffalo. Buffalo fresh off a bye week, but that hasn't fared very well for teams coming off of a bye week. Who do you like in this one?
All right, let's see. We got Tampa Bay and the Bucks. Now, my buddy is a Bucks fan, and we actually have a bet that whichever team, Bucks or Eagles, has the worst record, the other guy has to do something. And if he loses, he will have to jump out of a plane and go skydiving. He's afraid of heights.
Oh, man. That's hard.
So I'm picking the Bills. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills at home to take down the Buccaneers because I want to see my buddy skydive.
I want to see that too. I'm going to pick the Bills with you. Yeah, we can both cheer along on that one because that sounds like an extreme bet. So, wow.
Right.
All right, next game then. This one, I think, because it's a divisional game and both of these teams seem to be a bit rejuvenated, especially with their run game, we've got the new Adrian Peterson-led Cardinals and then, of course, the Todd Gurley L.A. Rams. Your pick on this one, big guy.
All right, now this is going to be another kind of a bit of a homer pick because I'm in a wins pool where I picked 3 NFL teams. I have the Cardinals as one of my teams. And with the emergence of Adrian Peterson coming over there, I wish he would have landed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, I was hoping that. But I gotta pick the Cardinals over the Rams in this one. I just think the veteran leadership of Fitzgerald, Peterson, and Palmer will lead the Cardinals over the Rams in LA. So I'm picking the Cardinals.
Yeah, and this game I think is really going to matter later on in the season, and I'm going to have to go with the Rams. I think they're the real deal. I think they're the team that's going to actually come out on top in this division. But this game, I think, depending on who wins it, will sway my vote for who might come out on top of that division. So for right now, I'm going to go with my gut, and that says that the Rams. And the next game that we have to choose from, now this one, when you looked at the schedule at the start of the season, probably would have thought, oh, man, this game is going to be great. But now you're kind of not sure. It's a 50-50 toss-up. But Cincinnati and Pittsburgh coming off of a huge win, taking down the last undefeated team. And Cincinnati seems to have kind of found their rhythm again. So division rivals going head-to-head. Who do you like?
I gotta stay in state, man. I'm going with the Steel Curtain. I'm going with my boys across the way, across I-76 there. I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bengals, man, I don't know where they at right now.
Yeah, I don't know either. But, man, the Steelers, up until that Kansas City game, I don't think people knew where they were either. I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to pick the Bengals over the Pittsburgh Steelers. A bold prediction there. Now, the next one, I wish this one was as good as it was previously advertised, but after this most recent loss, it's like it couldn't be worse timing for the Atlanta Falcons as they head into Foxborough. They blew a 17-point lead against the Dolphins, and now they go back to face the team that they blew the biggest lead of all time, and that was the Super Bowl. Who do you like in this one?
Patriots, Falcons. Both teams not looking good. Don't look like either one of them is going to make it to the Super Bowl this year. Just because of the home field advantage, I got to go with the Patriots in this one. Either team, you don't know what they're going to get. Like you said, they had to come back against the Jets at home to win. But I think maybe the Patriots might have figured something out. So I'm taking Tom Brady over Matt Ryan in this one.
Yeah, and I love a good revenge game, and the Patriots definitely had the scheduling gods smile down upon them for their schedule this whole season because this is one of like 3 matchups that they play big teams at home, and I wish it was in Atlanta, but I think Atlanta, after this embarrassing loss to the Dolphins, is going to be all fired up to take on New England. It is primetime Sunday Night Football, and that hasn't been very good for Tom Brady and company after that big home opener loss to KC, so I will take the Falcons. And that leaves us with the last one, Monday Night Football, Washington Redskins against the Fly Eagles Fly.
I mean, do you even have to ask me how this is going to go, Rich? Come on, man. Let's know how this is going to go. But you know what? I'm predicting the fact that we beat them the first time around in their home. I think this is going to be another home standout here for us. It's going to be a big day. You know, last week, October 16th, is when the Eagles played. Whenever we played the Panthers. October 12th. Sorry, the noise was announced, and we beat the Panthers. And so, what's happening on this Monday night is that it's the premiere of the noise, and we face the Redskins. So I think the noise and the Eagles are going hand in hand here. So whenever I'm winning on the noise, I'm winning with the Eagles, baby. So give me the Eagles over the Redskins. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going to give you a score. I'm going to say I'm going to drop you a score, give you 38-17 Eagles.
Wow. Now that is a showing by Philly and Carson Wentz. Who's your favorite player other than Carson? Or is it even Carson? I don't know.
You know what? Right now, I literally the first name that came across my mind was Aguilar, then Jeffrey, then Ertz. I mean, we just got so many weapons right now. Again, our running back by committee, they're doing well, switching it up. I just got to say, like you said, besides Wentz, man, I got to give it to like Fletcher Cox on the defense, man. He's keeping that defense going, keeping them powered up. He's bringing the pain, bringing the muscle, and really just being a veteran leader on that defense is keeping them all in check.
Well, to help you guys out, it would be great if my team got its first win of the season this week against the Cowboys. I don't know if you feel like that can happen, but it's definitely something. I mean, I know last year you picked against my Niners, and I took that a little hard, but I think they could do it, and they could help out your Eagles, you know.
Hey, look, man, every game, every team I pick, I never pick the Cowboys to win. I don't care what it is. 49ers will lose. I will pick the Giants to win the game, even though they're not going to be Seattle. And I will pick the Redskins to win the game, but they're not going to be my Eagles. But the 49ers, man, I hope y'all take the Cowboys out. Y'all had a good game last week, and I think y'all pulling some things together. So I hope y'all go ahead and take them Cowboys out.
Well, I appreciate the kind words this week because week 8 we meet the Eagles and the Niners, and I wanted to know if you wanted to have a little jersey bet on this one.
I mean, you know, we can do it. We can do that. You know, I'm not going to be afraid at all. You know, I think you the one should be concerned if you really want to do that. We can do it, but and it's going to be in Philadelphia too. Rich, you sure you want to do that? I mean, you have spoken already to the people, so.
Oh, I got to do it. I got to have.
Now it's on and pop.
I got to have a little fun in my life here, Faruq.
Make it happen.
All right. The last time that I had a jersey bet, though,
absolutely, let's do it.
What was with the Cowboys and the Niners last year, but before that it was the Eagles and 49ers when they played a few years back, and it looked like the Eagles had it in the first half, and my Niners came back. So maybe history will repeat itself, but I don't know. I always love friendly wagers, and this seems like a good one. But Faruq, are we going to get season 3 of BattleBots? Come on, man, tell me good news.
Look, man, right now it's running on Science Channel. It's been getting very, very good love on Science Channel. Please continue to watch. I know it's a lot of reruns, a lot of stuff you've already seen, but still some exciting bot fights in that battle box. So please keep checking it out. # we want season 3 on all types of social media, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you want. Watch it, the Science Channel. We need the Science Channel to pick up that season 3. Look, nobody wants to pick up a season 3 more than me right now, except probably Greg and Trey, the creators of the show. But look, we need to get that BattleBot season 3. So keep watching, tuning in, and we want some more robot fighting time. I know I do.
Oh, yeah. So we want season 3 if you're a BattleBots fan, and why not? It's awesome. And then, of course, you can catch Faruq on The Noise, and then on Sundance Now doing a panel show. What was the name of that one more time?
Now the Discussion.
And then, of course,
a six-part series of The Swell. It'll be one show. It'll be after each episode of The Swell.
All right. So those are the ways that you can find Faruq. No need for a last name Jenkins, but my man, it is so good to talk to you again. And hey, I'm still waiting on the He Cooks, He Scores street tacos. Anytime you want to do that for me on a Taco Tuesday.
Hey, look, man, as soon as it stops being 97 and 98 degrees in October so I can go into my kitchen and feel like cooking something, I'm going to get it up there for you, baby. I ain't forgot about you. I got you coming.
All right. He is Faruq. Faruq, you have a great rest of your night, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Rich. Thanks for having me on, baby.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right, once again, that was Faruq, good friend of mine. He is an LA guy, but he's Philly at heart, and so Philadelphia, Washington Redskins, obviously the big matchup of the week, primetime Monday Night Football. And breaking news, before we wrap up, it looks like Zeke Elliott will play against my Niners. I don't care. I hope we beat him, despite that. The fact that he just cannot take this L and his 6-game suspension. Apparently, he's allowed to play for the next 14 days, so the next 2 games until otherwise. I don't even know what this means anymore. I don't. It is so confusing and irritating. Like, just be done with this. At this point, I would almost just say, okay, either drop the whole thing and let him play, like let life go on, or he just needs to somebody needs to step in and just be like, you're serving your suspension. Like this is going to happen, and he just needs to do it. So that's your breaking news. Also, Nia Jax reportedly unhappy with her current role on Raw, walked out. That's the rumor. And then I'm also hearing that she has been granted a leave of absence until further notice. And that doesn't surprise me. They are terrible at utilizing talent, not just on Raw, but all of WWE. It's like NXT gets it. And that's because Triple H runs that thing. That's his baby. Triple H and the guys at NXT, they get it. The next level up, they don't. Nia Jax has every right to be upset. So SmackDown Live's coming up in about 5 minutes here. I'm going to watch that. But bold prediction, TLC, what if Carmella cashed in against Mickie James? That would be very interesting. It's not like it hasn't happened before. The contract, I do not believe, is brand specific. If that happened and she cashed it in against, the winner of Mickie and Alexa, which could be all the reason that you need to put the belt on Mickie for that one moment, and then she cashes in, Raw gets a new Diva, one a bit more suited for their current roster of women's superstars, and then you send Nia over to SmackDown. There's way better talent for her to compete with over on that side, on the blue brand. But more on that. Don't forget, tomorrow night, fantasy football talk, more of the latest headlines and news. NBA basketball starts tonight. I don't care. MLB playoffs are happening. I don't care. And then hockey is still going on, so that's good. But the NFL, Zeke Elliott gets to play against my Niners. I hope they rip them apart. In San Francisco, wish I could be there. Faruq and I have a jersey bet for the next week when the Niners go to Philadelphia. So that'll be fun. But thank you again to Faruq for taking the time to be on the show tonight. So tune in tomorrow. We're going to do this again at the different time, see how this works. So that is 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Thursday, I'm live and on location. More details to come on that. Don't forget, you can listen to me in podcast form. iTunes, SoundCloud, subscribe if you would be so kind. Leave a review too. And then you can also listen to the podcast on Spreaker.com, which is where I broadcast you live from. You can listen live at thefanshow.com. And then also I'm available on iHeartRadio and WBLZ Sports because they've got balls. So download the app and you can hear me on either of those platforms. Check out thefanshow.com, your home base for all things football and nonsense. The latest waiver wire discussion, your targets, who should you aim to pick up from Brandon Raper is up on the fantasy tab right now, and then Connor Ferguson's later regarding the Vikings winning against the Green Bay Packers without Aaron Rodgers and where he sees them in the next coming weeks. Tomorrow we'll have your Games of the Week preview by Ryan, so that'll be a good one as well. So we got plenty of stuff on the website. Go check it out. Follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, and follow along on Instagram and Snapchat. And so that will do it for this Tuesday edition of The Fan Show. Thank you again so much for tuning in. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love The Fan Show.